What is going on, my broskies? My name is Toadski and I am back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And in today's video we're going to be telling you guys how you guys can potentially beat COLISEUM VISTA. Now this guy is actually a pretty difficult COLISEUM, just by judging from some of the previous stages and actually the last stage himself. Not a whole lot of teams can actually beat it, unless if you have like a legend character in order to actually beat it. So in this video, I'm going to go through all the stages, the unit itself, and a couple of teams that you guys might be able to build in order to actually take on this dungeon. But without further ado, let's get straight into the video. So first of all, let's go ahead and start breaking down this new COLISEUM character being Flower Sword VISTA, Whitebeard 5th Division Commander. So this guy here is a quick slasher powerhouse character and evolves from the droppable 4-star character into this 5-star form. Now at max level, at level 99, he has 2,830 health, 1257 attack, and 228 recovery, so some pretty good stats overall. He has 40 cost, and he does have 3 socket spots. Now his captain ability, which is actually really useful, boosts attack of slashes by 2.25, and then makes recovery and tandem orbs beneficial to slasher characters. So this is very reminiscent of Dellinger or Treble, where they will make tandem and recovery orbs beneficial and also give a 2.25 boost to a class. Really solid captain ability, and can see some use in some Fortnite dungeons and potentially, in some other raids and or COLISEUM dungeons. Now let's move on to his special ability. Now one thing about this guy is that he only needs 10 skill ups. A majority of the other Chaos difficulty COLISEUM units need like 12 skill ups, but this guy only needs 10, which is actually really good because his special is actually super useful. And what it actually does, it does 25 times his attack to one enemy, and then will change your entire bottom row orbs into matching orbs. So overall, a really solid unit, really good captain ability, really good special, really good stats, and he has 3 socket spots. He's a slasher and a powerhouse character, and he's a quick unit, so he can fit into lots of different teams really well. Honestly, would have been good if we had him for the Akainu raid, would have helped out a lot of people, but you know what, it is what it is. We've got him now, so in the future, he's going to be a lot easier to farm for people now that we have Flower Sword VISTA COLISEUM unit. Now let's go ahead and start breaking down all of the 5 stages. So round number 1 is against Macro. So this guy was one of the characters from the Subodi Archipelago story mode, and he has approximately 900,000 HP, and he'll attack every turn on a 1-turn cooldown for 3,224 damage. Now there's also surrounding characters. There's a Fisherman character, and there's also Cat Pirate characters, and they have, 200,000 health and 160,000 health respectively, and they both attack for around about the same, between 2.5 and 2.8k. And everyone will attack on a 1-turn cooldown, so every single turn you are going to be taking damage, so you do have to be very careful about that. Now, the thing about this dungeon is his preemptive attack of Macro will go ahead and paralyze your entire crew for 99 turns, and then he'll do a little bit of damage, 3,224 damage. So, I highly recommend to bring someone that can remove paralysis, so definitely Mancherry would help a lot in this dungeon, as she removes paralysis, and you wouldn't have to actually deal with any of this. So, if you guys have Mancherry, I would highly recommend to bring Mancherry. Also, Golden Pound Usopp would kind of help here as well, as he can delay everyone, and they don't have a delay protector or a debuff protector, so you can bring a delay, which does help a lot considering everyone is on a 1-turn cooldown. So potentially bringing like a full-on side team with Mancherry and Golden Pound Usopp, that could potentially work as well. But if this guy falls below 50% HP, he will make it so that one unit is binded for 99 turns, and he does the exact same thing if he is under 20% HP. So you do have to be very careful about that, because he can bind your captain, which means that your captain ability is no longer active, so you do have to be very careful about that. So round number 2 is against Dr. Hogback. So Hogback himself is an int character, of course, and he has 2.25 million HP, so very tanky, and his attack power is 4,020 on a 2-turn cooldown. However, he does berserk down to a 1-turn cooldown. Now, the Brawlers, which are the characters that surround Hogback, will have about 100,000 HP each, and they will also attack for about 4,000 damage. Now, preemptive attack from Hogback will go ahead and boost the enemy's defense for 3 turns, so I highly recommend bringing someone that, has a lot of damage output against int characters. So Strongwood Shanks would probably be one of the most ideal characters for this dungeon, and then after they get berserked, you can go ahead and then delay them with a Golden Pound Usopp. That's what I would do. Save your delay for turn 2 when they get berserked. As you can see, it will increase the enemy's attack and then berserk. Turn 2 will go ahead and boost all enemies' attack. Turn 3 will randomly swap your crew's orb orbs, and then on turn 5 he will go ahead and start again at turn number 1, and it's like a cycle, it just keeps repeating. And then also afterwards, after that first repeating of the cycle, he'll go ahead and recover HP back as well, so that is something you do have to take note on. But basically what you can do is you can go ahead and wait for that first turn, and after they berserk, you can go ahead and delay them, and then once the defense shield has worn off, that's when you can go ahead and try and take down Dr. Hogback. That would be the most ideal situation, and probably what I'm going to be doing in order to take down Dr. Hogback on round number 2. Now we move on to round number 3, which is against the Box Kaku. So, Kaku being a Dex character, and he also has 1 million HP and an attack power of 35,000. He will attack you every 3 turns for that 35,000 damage. Now his preemptive attack will apply a 5-hit Great Barrier and also a debuff protector for 99 turns. Now, every time he attacks for 35,000, it is fixed damage. You cannot use a damage reducer to reduce that 35,000 damage. So, I would highly recommend to just bring a friend Blackbeard if you guys have a Blackbeard on your friends list, or bring your own Legend Blackbeard, because you just completely ignore the Great Barrier, and he only has 1 million HP, so he's very, very easy to take down. Probably one of the easiest stages of Colosseum, like, thus far. Really, really easy. You get 3 turns to do 1 million damage with a Legend Blackbeard. You shouldn't have any issues whatsoever with taking down this guy. Now we move on to round number 4, which is against Strongworld Frankie. So Frankie here has 4.48 million HP, and he also has an attack power of 6,717. Very, very tanky, lots of HP, and he has a preemptive attack that will give your crew a 1.5 times orb boost, and then all your orbs are switched to block orbs. Now that orb boost will be there for 99 turns, so you cannot bring your own orb booster, so, you know, it is what it is. It's actually not too bad. A 1.5 times orb boost for free is pretty good, because it does free up an extra slot on your crew for something else, so that's actually really, really good. Now, on turn number 1, he will go ahead and swap your orbs then to Psi and Int orbs, and then turn 2, he'll swap them to Strength and Dex orbs, then turn 3, he'll swap them to Recovery, Bomb, or G orbs, and then that will just keep repeating on a cycle. Now, after that, if his HP falls below 20%, he'll go ahead and increase his own attack power for 99 turns. But overall, you shouldn't have too many issues with him whatsoever. He doesn't have any delay protector or anything, so you can delay him if you want to. But, you know, just that preemptive attack where he gives you block orbs, that just opens it up perfectly for Raid Boss Kuma to come in, and he will help you a lot, giving all matching orbs and also that orb boost as well, although you don't really need an orb boost because you already get given an orb boost. But then you can go ahead and then just bring a whole bunch of really strong quick characters. That's probably what I'm going to do. You can bring like Legend Marco, or NL, or Doflamingo, or Cavendish, or just anything that you have, a really, really strong character. And also bring a type booster as well, so that's why Raid Boss NL is probably one of the best units for a 2 times boost to your quick characters, and potentially bringing like a health cutter like Gladius or Leo. That would help a lot in taking down this guy, because he does have a lot of HP, so I would highly recommend like Leo or Gladius if you guys have them. Would help out a lot in taking down round 4 Frankie. And now we move on to the final round, which is the Stage 5 against Vista. Now, before you actually reach Vista, you do have to verse that Frankie that we just showed once again. However, instead of having that 4.8 million HP that he has, 4.48, he has 1.8, so he's a lot easier to take down. So it basically does the exact same thing, except he has a lower HP requirement to actually be taken down. So that is fine. But then after that, we reach this guy here, Vista. So Vista is a quick unit and has 3.18 million HP and an attack power of 9,095, and he initially starts on a 1-turn cooldown. Now, he does have a preemptive attack that will apply a defense shield and then a delay protector for 2 turns. And then he also boosts his own attack by 1.5 times for those 2 turns as well. So he's quite tanky, because that defensive shield is a 50% reduction. So basically, for that first 2 turns, he takes half damage and he deals 50% more damage to you. So that is quite annoying, but if you can survive through that, then he'll go ahead on turn 3, roll back special cooldown of units in the left column by 1 turn. So, you know, after that 2 turns of waiting for that defensive shield to expire, he will go ahead and then roll back units in your left column specials for 1 turn. Really annoying. And then he'll go ahead and attack you every 2 turns then for 9,095 damage after that turn as well. So He goes to a 2-turn cooldown after he rolls back the specials, which is really useful, and then every 2 turns when he does attack, it'll only be 9,000 damage instead of 13,000 damage. Now, if he falls below 30% HP, he'll go ahead and apply a delay protector and then a 1.5 times attack boost for 99 turns. So definitely don't get him below 30%, because then if he does fall below 20%, he'll go ahead and deal 50,000 damage to you, and he'll go ahead and then do his regular attack on top of that. So you're going to be taking 59,000 damage, so definitely do not want to get in below 20 or 30%. That is definitely not what you want to do, but highly recommend to burst him down from, 31% or above to try and burst down the rest of his HP, so you don't get any of those really pesky abilities like a 1.5 times attack boost, or of course that 50,000 damage to you. So you do not want that to happen at all, so be very careful about that. Now let's quickly just have a look at the rewards that you can actually drop from the Coliseum. Now, you can drop any one of these on either of the 5 stages of the Coliseum. You can drop all types of cotton candy, HP, attack, recovery up, or all types up. You can also get Forbidden Tones, which of course everyone loves to get. Also, you can drop skill books of the character himself. Now, as we stated before, he only needs 10 skill ups, which is very useful. You can also drop Cola and Belly as well. So now let's go ahead and show you guys 3 different teams that you guys might be able to build in order to take on the Coliseum Vista Stage 5. Now, big shout out to GameWith because they provide a lot of the information for these teams as well as all of the stage breakdowns. So links to this article in particular will be down below in the description. But here we have the first team. We have the Chitty Bang Bang shooter team. Now, when you actually look at it, it actually is a free-to-play team. The only unit that isn't free-to-play is the friend captain, being the Strongworld Ace. So if you guys haven't maxed these guys out, it might be a little bit difficult to try and stall for them, but this team does work really well. So the whole idea is once you get to stage 4 against Frankie and he converts all your orbs into block orbs, you can go ahead and use your Kuma to convert those into matching orbs. Now remember, you have a 1.5 times orb boost from Frankie instead of a 1.7 from a 1.75 from the Kuma. You do have to keep note on that. Then after that, you can go ahead and use your Wapple. Now the blue Wapple from the Fortnite will go ahead and lock your orbs, which is awesome because you can bring those in against Vista. Then you can go ahead and use your Apu, your Coliseum Apu, to go ahead and then give you a 1.75 times boost to your attack for 1 turn. Really strong. And then you can go ahead and defeat Frankie in a single turn. Really good. Then what you want to go ahead and do is when you reach Vista, for those 2 turns that he has that defensive shield, go ahead and then just click on Kuma and then let him attack only. Now what that will do, it will conserve those matching orbs you have on your shooter characters. However, Kuma not being a shooter means it doesn't really matter what his attack power is or what orb he has. So you can just keep hitting on him until you are ready to go ahead and then do your burst, which is after the defensive shield has worn off. So you do have to take 2 hits from Vista, so you do have to make sure that you do have enough HP for that. And then after that, you can go ahead and use your Zephyr for the type boost, lock your orbs with Ace, and also doing a lot of damage as well. And then you should be able to defeat Vista within 2 turns because he does go to a 2-turn cooldown after that defensive shield has worn off. So this team actually works really well and shouldn't have any issues whatsoever with taking down Vista. Next team I want to show you guys is a Crocodile team. Now this Crocodile team is a little bit different from usual. It does have Kuma, it does have 3-day 2-year Frankie, which is not a cerebral character, but he helps a lot in this dungeon. Then you have Khalifa and 3-day 2-year Robin. So the way that this team works is you want to go ahead and the first turn of Frankie's fight, you want to go ahead and use Kuma once again to give you those matching orbs. Then you want to go ahead and use your 3-day 2-year Robin, who'll give you 1 HP. She'll lock the orbs and do a little bit of damage, 1,000 fixed damage. So those locked orbs is going to be super useful, of course. Then you want to go ahead and use your friend captain's Crocodile. Now, there is a reason for that, is because Vista will actually roll back your specials later on, and if it's your friend captain one that's still active with your special, then you won't be able to use it when you actually need it. So definitely go ahead and use your friend captain one first to get that attack boost, and then you can go ahead and kill Frankie in a single turn. But then after that, when you reach Vista, for the first 2 turns, you don't want to take any damage. Now, because you're at 1 HP, when you activate Khalifa special, you're not going to take any damage for 1 turn. And then the turn after that, you can go ahead and use your 3-day 2-year Frankie special, which will go ahead and nullify all quick damage for 1 turn. So that, again, will help you take damage. So you get 2 turns of no damage with this team, which is insane. and then after that, you can go ahead and use your specials, being your Crocodile, which is really good, and you shouldn't have too many other issues on top of that. After using your Crocodile, and you've already got an orb boost from Frankie that he gave you, you shouldn't have any issues whatsoever with taking down Crocodile, or not taking down Crocodile, taking down VISTA in a single turn, making sure that in those first 2 turns when you do the damage reduction, to take a hit, to just regularly hit with your Frankie, because your Frankie is not a cerebral character, so they don't get any boost from Crocodile. But yeah, as I said, you activate Crocodile, you've already got an orb boost from Frankie, and you already got all your matching orbs, so you can go ahead and take him down in a single turn. Now, this last team that I am suggesting, I wouldn't really use this team, but if you really cannot build the other 2 teams, then this one can work, but it is very hard. It takes a very long time to beat it. But the whole theory of this team is that when you reach Frankie, you can go ahead and use your Alvida for the first turn, use Smoker for the second turn, which gives you 3 turns of damage reduction, and then after that, on the turn where you don't have any more damage reduction, you can go ahead and use your Margaret, which will go ahead and delay for 1 turn, and then you can go ahead and use your Penguin and Sachi, which will help you get some healing back, and you're basically just cycling through all of these specials, where you're reducing damage, you're healing back, and you're just doing as much damage as you can in between those turns. So honestly, this team isn't really that great. It does take a very long time to beat it, but you actually can do it with this team. As I said, if you have no other way of beating it, then this actually does work against both Frankie and the VISTA stages of the Colosseum. Very annoying, but you can do it, as I said. So that is going to conclude yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. Hope you guys did enjoy this video, and if you guys did, make sure to smack the like button down below, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, guys, I will see you guys within the next video.